Welcome to the first ever Kick streamer tier list, everybody. So right here, I've made a list of all the Kick streamers that we all know of that are currently either partnered or have achieved partnered / verified status. I will be going over everybody's name and sort of where they might be placed. So to explain this tier list, so obviously we have here top tier is S, A+, A, B, then C. Normally the tier list has it goes from S to A, B, C, D, and F, but in my opinion, I don't think in terms of all these streamers right here, I don't think nobody really qualifies for D or F tier. So I'm just gonna be, the lowest I'll go is just C, and I'll kind of go over what streamers would qualify for C versus who would qualify for A or S as we go along. So let's get started. So to understand where people might qualify, so S tier, this whole thing, like it says right here. So I'm pretty sure I'm probably the first ever to do this. So Kick streamer tier list, a list of all currently popular Kick streamers who are affiliate and verified status / partnered, whatever. I know on this platform specifically it's different, but I'm just calling it the same because that's essentially what the check mark stands for. And like I said, since it's going from S to all the way down to C, this will, like it says here, this will be based on how beneficial they are to the platform versus how many just went for the bag. Because in my opinion, if you really are about this platform, you would support it all the way, not just take advantage of it because it's more lenient on its terms of service or community guidelines, or the fact that you were previously banned on another platform and then you came here because you couldn't do such said thing on the other platform, so you came over here. Little things like that I will be taking into account. It's not really specific towards anybody, it's just that don't take offense to it if let's say you would even agree yourself that that you switched because of the bag or because you were rightfully so banned on the other platform. So that those kinds of people would qualify for C versus like I said, if you're more beneficial towards the platform, they obviously drive a lot of attention towards it. There's a lot of traffic going towards it. They're sort of like a great cheerleader for the platform to obviously grow. Again, one little last thing, if you're not I'm pretty sure I said this already, but if you're not on here, I do apologize if you're seeing this and you're not on here. Just let me know. I guess I'll go over just a quick little background of who these people are, and then sort of put them where I think they deserve to be, and then sort of explain why. I guess that'll be nice. Keep it short and brief. I won't try to go over as much. First on the list is Action Man. So Action Man 7, former Twitch streamer. You might have seen him be playing around a lot in Fortnite. I think that's where he was mainly first got his I guess streamer fame from. He played a lot of Fortnite. His most recent I guess what sort of gave him a boost is that you might have seen him in more popular clips where he's playing Fortnite with XQC. I remember seeing him for the first time is where he got queued up with XQC, and sort of the fans, both communities sort of just intertwined and stuff and saw that they weren't so different. Then from there, it was late November or whatever, that's when I think that's when he was trying out Kick for the first time and just sort of doing the whole webcam, or not webcam, what's it called, Omegle, just sort of live chatting, where he's in his I think it was a hot dog outfit or something. I'm not too, I don't remember fully, but more or less he's just been doing the more just chatting stuff, more IRL stuff than playing video games. But he has been sort of playing here and there, but ever since his move over here, he has been doing a lot more IRL. He has had a few controversial moments, namely some near violent encounters, I guess you could say. He was in some sort of controversy. I won't get into it, I guess, just for the sake of the tier list, but he is, I think, if I remember correctly, he was actually the first streamer to actually to reach the highest amount of subs on here. I think he got up to 15-20k. I don't remember exactly, but he got it in the fastest amount of time. Like he even tweeted about it where he said like he's already made more money on here than he has over on Twitch playing Fortnite. So all that considered, like I think even he recently made like a community where he wants to help the smaller streamer, which I think again it's beneficial towards the platform, like I said. So all this combined, like he's been more of a net good than a net positive, or I mean a net negative. He's been more good than bad is what I meant to say. I think he would be, I think I'll leave him in A+, depending on how I would rate the other streamers. I might move him up or not, but since like this is a good starting point, so but I think that's a good starting ground. So Action Man, definitely an A+, possibly S tier. We'll see how it goes. All right, next on the list, Adin Ross. More than likely the biggest name on the platform. I think he's like very much the front man of the whole platform. You know, when you think of Kick, you're obviously gonna think of Adin Ross because, like I said, front man, cheerleader, mascot, you could name any of these things. So of course he came over from Twitch. He was just randomly banned off Twitch. I don't remember exactly why, but he's definitely been in a lot of controversial stuff. In terms of good, I would say that, you know, he's very youthful. Like it shows that what a kid can really do. He puts his mind to it. Like he's posted videos here and there of what he wanted to do, what he's planning on doing, like why he started streaming in the first place. I think given his age, he has very good networking. Like, you know, you always see him bring on the big guest, like rappers, celebrities. I mean, I guess given his age, I think he is more prone to immaturity, I guess. And that's where his more controversial stuff would come in, where, like, you know, he's said some things that he's obviously regretted. He's done some things that are also, you know, regrettable, but he has apologized for it. He has owned up to it. So it's kind of like seeing like your own kid sort of go through life and mature, which is I guess like take it as you will. And all that alone, I think really shows improvement on himself. Like if I were to just go off his like his bad actions, he would obviously go down to C. Because like the headlines will always paint him in a negative light where he's controversial and stuff, but actions speak louder than words. So he has shown improvement. He has become more disciplinary. So I think I'll put him just in A+ for similar reasons as Action Man. Just like that whole, given he's been in more controversies than Action Man, since Adin is sort of like in that recovery stage, like I think that's good enough for me to put him in A+. Next on the list is Almighty J. I know he's like somewhat of a rapper slash just a Twitch streamer, I guess you could say. He's kind of like what's the guy's name, DDG, I think. I would say he has been more of just switching over because he's in like the Adin Ross's community. Like him and Adin sort of just hang out together IRL whenever they're doing like going to sporting events. From the content I've seen him in, he does seem to be towing the line of TOS, where he kind of wants to push the limits just to see as far as they'll go. I think the last stream I saw of him, he was like on the front page. And it was kind of weird because like the front page, I think it captured the exact moment where a girl was like undressing. Like I think there was Kick staff in his chat, and he asked them like, hey, like put me on the front page and stuff like that. And so I guess he did. Then after like a few minutes, he brought in a girl, and like he basically undressed the girl, took off her bra and stuff, and just sort of like covered her breasts with his hands, sort of like towing that TOS line of like, you know, hey, if you can't see it, it's not against TOS. Off of that alone, like I'm pretty sure it seems like he just switched over because the terms are more lenient and less restrictive. But again, it's like good on Kick for like, you know, putting their foot down on no matter how big the person is, because like I said, he's a rapper. He's gotten like tens of millions of views, obviously not up there with like Adin and stuff, but he's still like, you know, a big name known all around the Twitch and now currently Kick community. So I think I'll put him in B. You know, he could be bringing in more eyes and stuff to the platform rather than just like putting himself on top. He could be doing more if, like, you know, like I said, if he didn't do the more explicit stuff, I'd probably put him up to A. But again, it just seems like he's more or less just for the bag or the attention that Kick currently is experiencing, so I'll just put him at B. Next on the list is the CEO himself, or at least that's what he likes to call himself. He's sort of like, that's his whole image, just like this mafia boss style, Mr. Big E. You know, he comes from YouTube. He likes to be sort of like the guy in charge, the boss, and you know, call that an ego or not. Once you sort of get into his streams, he is more playful, more cheerful. Like, you know, he wants to do good. Like he wants, like any other good boss would want for his company or organization and stuff. It makes sense why he would call himself the CEO, because he wants to see the platform achieve greatness and stuff. In terms of his streams, he has done more just like of just chatting than IRL. I would say he's a just chatter. He's more or less just always on at his setup, then obviously just chatting. Then he likes to talk about, you know, the platform itself. He wants to sort of influence people, sort of like, you know, inspire, talk about changes he would like to see, make future events. It's like he is very good on brand. Since he calls himself the CEO, he's good on brand, that he wants to see all these changes. And you know how the saying goes, it's like, be the change you want to see. And he's really true to those words. And all that together, I think that makes him a really good streamer. His more recent content, you know, he's had a talk with the real CEO, obviously, Steak Eddie. He's had discussions with him about the platform and where Big E would like to see it go versus where Eddie would like to see it go, or what they're trying. Like, you know, he's in touch with the higher ups, and I think that's like it's like a good network. That's a very good connections he has. My only critique of him, or like, I guess it would be that he's been more, since he has more connections with the higher ups of Kick, it seems like he might be more personally affecting these rules that might bring up like changes. Like, let's say he gives his take on what should be allowed or what shouldn't be, or what new changes should be brought. Majority, I would definitely assume that are good, because like I said, he has that CEO brand and he wants to see this platform grow and do good. So of course I would expect, like, you know, it's gonna be more beneficial. I saw a stream of him where he made like if he was in charge, he would put the criteria, or like, this is what the criteria would be if he was the one in charge. More or less, it seems like that's kind of what they went with, what Kick actually went with. Like, his was more, I don't remember, but it was pretty much the same amount of requirements. And I'm not saying like he had anything to do with what Kick actually went through with it, but it just seemed like they both had the same idea of what verified should be. So overall, what I'm trying to say is that I feel like since he has these connections, his more personal preferences, it might be only beneficial to guys like him versus the community as a whole. All that aside, I guess he's still very beneficial towards the platform. I haven't seen him in any negative light or anything, or no controversy that I'm aware of. Just basically that, I guess, since, like I said, since he has that ego of a boss, it might also come with the pros and cons of having a egotistical boss personality. So, but all that aside, he's still definitely great for the platform. Like, I definitely want to see him be much of a recruiter as Aiden might be. You know, bring over friends that he might know, or friends that he has in SOAR, the organization, like, you know, bring them also over here. All that together is like a very big plus towards the Kick platform. So he's going to be our first S tier. All that aside, like, you know, I hope he doesn't get too fixated on just that one negative thing. So yeah, that's what I would consider an S tier. So Big Iraq. He's also sort of like a big name in the GTA RP sort of world. I think that's where he kind of has been doing recently, where he kind of blew up recently. I've seen him a couple times. GTA RP streamer, COD Warzone streamer, Twitch turned Kick streamer. I guess he's just sort of like any other gamer that now wants to sort of be on the better platform for his community to support him. But all that together, I think, regardless of how much I know of him, in terms of how beneficial he would be towards the platform, I think anybody could look up to him as like a gamer streamer, variety gamer streamer, and sort of come over here and sort of see what sort of changes and steps he made to come over here, because like, you know, obviously he would know that this is the better place for community support. So like I said, he reaches the minimum to qualify for an A, and who knows, maybe he could move up to A plus. Next up we have Buddha. I think he's another big Twitch streamer that has recently come over. I think he multi-streams, but he more or less just comes over here for like, he mainly plays GTA RP over here, and I'm guessing that's what he's done over on Twitch as well. I've watched him a decent amount. You might have seen him recently with like XQC in that one basketball game, the Lakers. A big guy like him, like, you know, near 1 million Twitch followers, telling all of them to come over here to better support him. He has obviously more freedom on his hands to do what he wants to do. Like, it seems like since Twitch banned the whole gambling streams, he now does that over here, so he's able to do what he wants. Or, I mean, all that aside, he's still just a solid A tier streamer. And you'll sort of like notice a trend here that the bigger the streamer is, the more I'm gonna like be, I guess, critical of them because of their, obviously, the size of their audience. And like, you know, how many new eyes can they bring over here. I know since Buddha is like good friends with XQC, and I know we've all seen those clips of XQC just contemplating him moving over to here because XQC wants to do gambling, I guess, again over here. But I think if Buddha could convince XQC to come on over, then maybe XQC can go back to doing, like, you know, X wanted to do. Maybe he wanted to do gambling streams like X was thinking about. X, if he wanted to, could do some late night streams. So again, just multi-streaming alone, if Buddha can convince him to do that, that's already like a big plus to the platform. All right, next up we got Cheezer. Friend in Aiden's community. He mainly does like the Omegle streams where he talks to strangers and stuff. Likes to be sort of controversial at times. Cheezer, I have seen him in a couple of controversial stuff lately. Nothing like worth like condemning, I guess you could say, but just like he does sort of like I said, since he likes to form clips, he'll do it for the clip, I guess you could say. Just seems like normal, I guess average. So I'll put him in A, because it does seem like in his actions, he does seem to want to bring more attention. Like, since he is doing all these controversial stuff, it seems like maybe his background intentions are to sort of lure people more over here than they are to just like shy them away from it. I'll leave him at A. Like, I'm sort of like leaning towards B, but I want to put him in A because I think he wants to do good, or maybe he's just doing it for himself. But who knows? Depending on where I might put others in here, like maybe it could bring him down as well if I pretty much give the similar qualifications or traits to that person. Like, who knows? So I'll leave him here at A, but I'll probably move him down to B if it comes down to it. So next up is, he goes by Chow H1, this guy. He's a Spanish streamer, recently turned, he's live right now actually. Yeah, so he's a Spanish streamer, nearly 20k followers. That seems like what he's been going for on here, mainly Warzone. But yeah, he recently came over. I know Kick, like Kick itself, they recently made like a Kick Spanish sort of a channel or account where they're recruiting Spanish streamers over to Kick. And like he was one of the first big Spanish streamers to come on over, since Kick is actually reaching out to other streamers of like other demographics and bringing them over here. Obviously, since this is like our first international streamer, that's definitely going to bring good eyes. But I guess off the fact alone that he only games, like I'm just gonna go with A plus. I think, yeah, like I said, like it's definitely good that since he's of a different demographic, and more different eyes are being shown or being brought here over to Kick, I think that's like a very big plus. That's very great. So he's definitely deserving of the A plus tier. Okay, next up is Citrus, which is, I think like he's Aiden's assistant or manager. I'm not really sure. I guess since he sort of helps set up events for Aiden, it definitely like brings in more eyes. Like, you know, if whoever Citrus were to bring on it's like, oh, we're on Kick. Like, you know, that might be new to the person that he might be bringing on to for like, you know, like online, like little Discord discussions. I think just off that alone, like in terms of just how beneficial it might be towards the platform, since he is helping like a guy like Aiden, I guess that I would put him in the same place as Aiden, so A+. Next up, Corinna Conf. The biggest e-girl on this list. Corinna X, or I wouldn't say X, I don't think she's banned or anything, just more or less, she was the second biggest signee over to Kick. I'm pretty sure it was like Aiden who convinced her to like come on over, since like I think Corinna wanted to do slot streamings and stuff, just sort of like gambling streams. It seems like that's what she mainly does, or I think that's what she only does, is just gambling and then a few IRL streams here and there. I think since she's only moved over because she wanted to stream gambling slots, so like I said, like the thing is like how many just switched over for the bag. Like I guess it's like do your thing, girl, I guess you could say. But I guess just off the fact alone that it's just gambling streams, like maybe she could be doing more, and she realizes like maybe she's just doing this because like, you know, it's her like, you know, preference. She's doing what she wants to do, and that's fine. But, you know, obviously since she's actually a signee, like I'm pretty sure she's contracted, maybe she could be doing more if she wanted to. Like maybe she just hasn't explored that kind of freedom that she thinks she might not know she has here. But again, it seems like she's only doing slot streaming, so I'll leave her at A. You know, just average. Again, could do more, could move up to A+, but it seems like she's just doing what she wants to do. Next up is Cuffum. I think it was like, I'm not sure if it was him or someone else that was recently in some sort of controversy where I said like he wanted to do something to Hassan. Again, I could be wrong. I don't want to put words in anybody's mouth. Like I don't think it was exactly the words kill, but sort of just a take down Hassan or something like that. It does seem like he wants this platform to sort of grow and achieve than he is just more or less farming clips. He is very active on social media, like he tweets anytime he's going live. Like he's doing what he's gonna do what he says on his tweets. All that alone, like controversy aside and stuff, I think that's a good like average. Next up is the Dan Dingler, another e-girl streamer. If my hunch is correct, let me check. I think she has gotten banned before on here because of pushing the sexually explicit guidelines. She is like a hot tub streamer, pool streamer, whatever you want to call it. Definitely likes to toe the lines on, like I said, the sexually explicit stuff. She was on stream doing, I guess, like for lack of a better word, she hasn't learned her lesson. So I'll put her just down here at I hate to do this, but she's probably just gonna have to be our first C tier. Again, it seems like she's very similar to what Almighty J has done, where he's sort of like, I guess at least with Jay, they both are sort of guilty of the same thing. I guess since she's been more self-defensive about what she has done, then rather than like, you know, apologize or like, you know, say she'll amend her ways and stuff like that, I'll just leave her down here. Who knows, depending on who else might go down here, I'll move her up if I think like it's not as bad as the other person that might be here. So I'll just leave her down here. She'll be our first C tier. Then next up is how do I say this? Dadgazdim. I'm pretty sure this guy's a Spanish streamer, I want to say. Okay, no, so he's not a Spanish streamer. I thought he was, or I might be confusing him with someone else, but it seems like on here he's like sort of a variety streamer. Mainly he has done GTA RP, Just Chatting. Recently he's done Fall Guys and Cuphead and Rocket League. So just good overall variety streamer. I guess I'll put him in the middle, just A tier. Doesn't seem like he has anything bad about him. Next up is Destiny, former Twitch streamer, now banned. He moved to YouTube. political commentator slash philosopher, or whatever he likes to call himself. Typical blue-haired liberal. At least that's what people like to refer him as. You've seen him recently battling the whole red pill space. Friends with Trainwrecks, obviously. He's like, I'm pretty sure, like, he's very well known all around. From like making friends over on Twitch, you know, friends with Hassan, obviously. Or, well, not anymore, but like, you know, that's where at least he was involved in over on Twitch. Great debater, political commentator, all that stuff. And now he's over here on Kick, where he doesn't have as big as a contract as Aiden or Corinna, but he's at least just streaming here exclusively on some days, where he might be able to do, like, he's said it before, where he now can do stuff where he couldn't do before, like maybe some certain political topics he couldn't cover. He can at least do that now here, or he could collab with people that he couldn't before on Twitch. Since, like, you know, he's been there now, he could do it over here on Kick. Like, they could have a discussion with him. Besides all that, in terms of just how beneficial he is, like, he does see Kick's like, what's the word I'm looking for? He does see the growth in Kick. Like, there's no other reason why he would have signed over here. I think it's like 6 months, I think, where he just streams on the weekends here. Besides all that, I think he's a good just A-tier streamer, because he does bring a lot of attention over here. But considering like his background in streaming, where he was before and stuff, that definitely boosts him up a bit. I still think he's like a solid A+. Next up is GM Hikaru, the Grandmaster chess player. He's also a signee. I think he's here for like a year, I think. I'm pretty sure just a year, or I'm not sure of the specifics. Not much to talk about him, just, you know, good personality, good analyzer. I know he's recently signed, I'm just not sure what a group actually. He's on Misfits group. Misfits Gaming. I'll put him A+ or S, I'm not sure, because like it doesn't seem like there's any negative things about him. I can't think of a certain single negative thing that I've seen about him that would paint him as bad or controversial. You know, he's definitely signed on over because he's also said before that he thinks Kick can do good. I'm sure he has like personal thoughts on Twitch where he might think it's going bad over on Twitch. Like, he might have his own opinions on it and stuff like that. That's probably why he wanted to switch over, just like, you know, temporarily to see how things work out over here. But again, it's a non-exclusive contract, so he still likes to just stream over there, then like finish the stream over here. I'll put him in S. I think just the fact alone that he's great teacher, great chess commentator, all that stuff, it's not like that alone makes him like the greatest above all else. Like, that alone makes him S tier. It's just that him alone, like, he's a pretty big name, especially over on Twitch, where he was before, and now he's over here. So it definitely brings out the variety on Kick, where anybody who's a chess player over here on Kick can now be inspired to stream chess. So it definitely, like, I'm pretty sure since he moved over, Kick themselves even made like the category on the spot, chess, just for him to stream on. Like, instead of him just like having to put on the category of just chatting, he can now you know, be in the category chess. So that alone, like, just obviously brought impact and is beneficial towards the platform. I think that, yeah, I'm pretty fine with him being on here. Definitely S tier. Alright, next up is Heel Mike. Heel Mike. Definitely very controversial. One of the biggest names on here, mainly just an IRL streamer. Sometimes I think he's done slots, but he's mainly just been more on the more of like the IRL hot tub streams. Like, he's always just bringing on girls and, like, you know, doing like little parties and stuff like that. In terms of like controversies that he's been involved in, like, you know, I think the biggest one being that he received oral on stream, but this was back before like Kick had made their sexually explicit guidelines clear. Like, I think since he's close friends with Train, I think Train had to like tell him that, like, you know, just to like, hey, like, sort of like slow it down, like knock it off with that kind of stuff, just sort of like keep it between the lines. Like, you know, don't be, you know, just pushing this kind of stuff. it seems like he still kind of does it, just not to that extreme. He does seem like he's very supportive of this platform. Like he's appreciative that he could do more stuff on here compared to back on Twitch. And I guess that's like one good redeeming quality about him. So I'll put him at B, because I do still think he's as guilty as what Dan has done. But at least for him, like at least he's actually talked with the Train and said, like, you know, he's apologized for it and actually said he'll like change up a bit. All right, next up is Ice Poseidon. Very, very controversial figure. Has done very questionable things when he was on Twitch. Like he was one of the big names on Twitch, but he would always just be doing controversial stuff on Twitch, which ultimately got him banned, where he then had like retired for like a year or so. Let me see if I'm missing anything, because it doesn't seem like he has done anything bad that would paint Kick in a bad light. But he's definitely wanted to just come back to sort of the streaming things. I know he's recently had been in talks with Aiden to do like sort of these events, as like him being a big name over on Twitch, and then now coming over here to Kick. It definitely, like, you know, brings back all the attention he had over on Twitch now here. And like, you know, he's one of the top most viewed IRL just chatting streamers since he's been back over here. He's just been doing like 24-hour streaming. He's been traveling. I know I've seen a couple of his like traveling streams, because I'm leaning towards A and B, because like all the negative past stuff about him might paint him as bad. Because this is not like a bias I have towards him, it's just that since he does have a past, like a negative past, like that could sort of like, I guess, paint him in a bad way for him coming over here, where it's like now known as like Kick, the site where it's hosting Ice Poseidon, this controversial streamer. Like it could paint the platform in the bad way more than it would just bring up his bad history, if that makes any sense. Yeah, I'll leave him at B tier, but then once we're done with this list, again, I'll just reevaluate all these choices and I'll move him up to A if it comes down to it, where he might not seem as bad as any other B tier streamer. So the next person up is iGypsy, E-Girl, another E-Girl streamer. I have seen her streams here and there. I've hosted her a couple of times. Mainly just Apex Legends is what I've seen her play. Former Mixer streamer, former Facebook streamer. Yeah, I guess I'll just put her A tier. Like same reasons as Big Iraq, you know, just variety gamer, you know, brings in more eyes since she's from Facebook and Mixer formerly, and now she's here. It's like it does bring those audiences over there on those platforms over here now. Like even her profile has the Kick logo, so I'm like, she's very supportive of the platform. Yeah, I guess that's all good enough to give her a solid A tier rating. Next up is Jared FPS, mainly a Warzone streamer, sometimes slots. He has been popping off lately in terms of his popularity on Twitter because of what he has talked about regarding Kick, about like the kind of support that he's received here. Very critical of the platform, but in a good way. Like he definitely wants to see it succeed. Like, you know, I've seen his tweets about, like, you know, bots, the view botting issue that's going on here, what kind of changes he would like to see here. Given that he's definitely more talkative about it on Twitter and stuff, definitely wants to bring more eyes to the platform. I think that's a very good A+ rating for him. And also he was recently like, He's also was recently on what's it called, that Patrick CC video about Twitch failing that we reacted to, where he was showing the distinction between how many subs on Kick gets you versus what on Twitch gets you, sort of that sort of stuff. Like that one tweet of his pumped off. So like kudos to him on that, definitely. All right, next up is the Joker. Obviously that's what he goes by, like as his profile picture here. Like he's going for that whole sort of Joker-ish persona. He's definitely like, he's been on platforms here and there. Like I followed him when DLive was popping off. If you guys know where that what that platform is, it was like way before Kick was started. It was a new platform coming up, obviously DLive, and like that's where I first saw him and followed him on. And he would always just be like in these like discussion panels, just chatting and stuff. Sometimes Omegle streams where he obviously puts on the persona of the Joker and sort of just makes Joker-y jokes. Is like a sort of like this role model for the smallest streamer, like what he has done, what he can become, all that like together. Like he's definitely people can, like, smaller streamers can take a page out of him and, like, you know, sort of do the same thing, and all that stuff is very admirable, very like underrated small streamer. So, and he definitely wants to see this platform grows. He sees the potential in it, because like I said, he's moved on from, he was on Twitch over to DLive when I was popping off, and then now he's here. And I don't know much about him before, but like I said, since I only know him from DLive to here, that's all I can really give about him. But again, all that alone, I think that's an A+ for me. Next up is King Wools. King Wools, like former Twitch streamer, now Kick streamer, I guess, since he switched on over. Again, sort of the same variety gamer. He's like the epitome of like a good variety streamer, just like doing what he wants. Definitely sees success in it. He's very active on social media. I want to give him an A+ rating, but given since he's just really variety gaming, not really doing anything really like community eventful sort of thing, that's sort of limiting him from going up to an A+ rating. Very, very high quality content that he does besides the gaming streams that I've just tuned into. You know what, we'll give him an A+, because he's definitely more on the qualitative side of things than just, like, you know, doing the minimum of just like variety gaming without necessarily, like, you know, putting any other work into this platform. So yeah, we'll give him an A+. Next person is Canute. Alright, so Canute, another big Twitch streamer name. Some of you might have heard of him, some of you have not. I'm pretty sure he's like big enough to where people know him. He has just like multi-streamed here. He more or less just pretty much does the same thing where, you know, he starts on Twitch and then maybe late night streams, he comes on over to stream on Kick to do the things where he couldn't normally do on Twitch. But it doesn't seem like he's very much active on here. I guess what I'm trying to say is, like, if he were more active on here, it'd be more beneficial, because it seems like he came over here for like about 2 months and then he sort of just stopped. I guess like all that like would I'll give him like the good, just solid A tier rating, good average. It sort of like he could do more. He could definitely do more over here on Kick. Like maybe he would want to talk to, because he is good friends with Destiny and Train, so if he wanted to, he could like do this more, where he would like collab with Destiny or any ex-Twitch friends he had that he couldn't talk to before that are also on Kick. Like, this is just the best example I could give, where him and Destiny can now talk to each other again after so long. Okay, next up is Lucci TV. Definitely one of the like bigger streamers on here. Does a lot of Warzone streams. He even calls himself the Florida Man of streaming. It's a good little title. He definitely sees the potential in Kick. It says so in one of his tweets that he definitely wants to sort of see Kick succeed so he could be full-time over here. In just a couple months, he's already reached nearly 10k followers on here. He's also been very active on Twitter, where he wants to, you know, seeing these changes that Kick is making, and like, you know, what he would like to see be done over here, and all this kinds of stuff. And it makes sense for him to say all those things, since he's on this platform and he's like cheerleading for it. Makes sense for him to be talkative about these stuff. So all that, I would say, if he was more of a just chatter, then less of just this Warzone streamer, like maybe if he talked to, you know, someone like Big E or Jared, because I know they're like somewhat in that same community. If you were to talk more to them about what Kick can do, like sort of just organize and stuff, sort of network with each other and sort of talk about what can be done, what sort of events could be done, all that stuff I would definitely put him up to S tier. But again, it's just that little detail about if he was more of a variety streamer than he was just like a Warzone streamer, I definitely could put him up one, but he's gonna be on A+. He's very, very beneficial towards the platform. Very great guy. Alright, next up is Los Pollos, another big Twitch streamer name that has come on over thanks to Aiden. They both sort of collab whenever there's like sporting events going on. They both like to sort of just like, you know, place bets and stuff like that. They both go to like sporting concerts, or not sporting concerts, I mean just they both go to sporting events and they just bet on their favorite teams and stuff. But it seems for the most part what Los Pollos does is just gambling streams. At least that's what I've only seen him do on here. Given he's a big name, given he's from Twitch, and of course like bringing those that culture over here, it could definitely, like, you know, is beneficial, can bring new eyes to the platform. But it's kind of like, since he's in Aiden's sort of like group, it's kind of like there's no new eyes necessarily that would be brought over here, but he's still like, you know, a big name coming over here, and that's like very good enough. So I'll just give him like a solid A tier rating. No, nothing controversial that I've seen him be a part of that would bring him down to possibly B tier, but just, again, just a good enough A tier rating for me. Next up is Mike CH11. He is somewhat of a variety gamer, but is definitely, I think I've seen him just be more on like the Warzone, like shooter FPS sort of games on the side of things. Very supportive on Twitter, and like I see him always just liking or retweeting my tweets whenever I go live, so that's good on him. The fact alone that I've seen him tweet about wanting this platform to succeed, that's good, very good enough for me to give him an A plus rating, given that he does the same things as Lucci, but is also like a variety streamer and, like, you know, wants to see this platform succeed. That's definitely up here. All right, next up is Neon. Now Neon, I think he's mainly come up same network as Aiden. Definitely has been in a lot of controversies for as long as he's been on Kick. Not sure about his Twitch presence, but given that he's been involved in a lot of controversies, like, you know, getting swatted to like DDoSing, has said controversial things. But given he's on the younger side, that is kind of like expected of him to be somewhat immature at times. I mean, I don't really want to like repeat the things he has said to sort of like make the point as to why he's controversial, but like those things that I've just talked about alone, like what brought him like all this attention on Kick, the best I can do as to say why he got temporarily banned on this platform too. But he mainly just does IRL streamings. He does like, I'll say it, like he's done Omegle streams where he just goes on and insults people on like whoever he's talking to Omegle on in a very disrespectful way. And so he's also said a couple of disrespectful things that I guess would constitute him getting temporarily banned. But besides that, any other things he does is just mainly just gambling streams as well. He's definitely done more bad than good, but I don't want to make that seem very, I don't want that to make him be painted as in a bad light. So that's why I'm kind of just like teetering towards between B or C. It's like the very disrespectful, immature, like if I were just to do it off of what he has done controversially, it definitely would just land him in C tier. But it feels like he hasn't really done anything that's really beneficial towards the platform. At least that's what I'm seeing here. Like on Twitter, it doesn't seem like he's yeah, like checking on his Twitter and on his Kick, it just seems like he's mainly just more on the bad side of Aiden's friend group, network, whatever you want to call it. You know, I hate to do this or whatever, but he's gonna be our second C tier streamer. Again, if you were just more mature about the things he has done and more conscious about the things he has done, you know, I would at least give him an A tier rating where it's just average. Like, you know, he would be on the same wavelength as Los Pollos, where he's like, you know, obviously a big streamer, but he's more or less just disrespectful and edgy just for the content than he is for his true self. So like that alone, just like trying to get fame off of like, you know, getting a reaction out of somebody, like that's never really seen in a good way. So I think I'll just leave him in C tier. Next up, we have Nick Rich. He's on that same boat as Jared FPS, where he's brought attention towards the success of Kick. Yeah, so he was one of the first gamers I saw come over, like one of the OGs from like months ago to switch over here, because he's definitely highlighted the impact that he's gotten from his support that he's gotten over here on Kick, from like, you know, talking about the 95-5 split, how it's more beneficial here. Very, very charitable guy. I've seen him like help a few smaller streamers here and there, just sort of like give out advice. He has talked about other people who just switched over for the bag, like how I've talked about here, how many just switched over for the bag and went back when the hype sort of died down. But he's definitely is still more passionate about streaming here on Kick. Like he definitely wants this platform to succeed. He's very helpful about it. Like one of his big tweets is definitely where he highlighted the differences between Twitch's subs and Kick subs. Like he's talked about how much he's earned over here versus on Twitch, like all that good stuff. And I think that's very, very admirable of him. So definitely an A+ rating. All right, next up is Nitro Luke. If you guys are involved in the Warzone stuff, you know he's recently been involved with a controversy of him cheating, where he had went off on like, you know, Warzone, like, you know, being beneficial towards cheaters. They're not doing anything about cheaters, when the moment he was caught cheating himself, which was like kind of ironic and like funny, I guess, in a way. And like I think he was like permanently banned from playing Warzone, but I'm pretty sure he still does it now, because he still plays Warzone on Kick. Or I'm not sure if he's like banned on Twitch. I know that he's just been involved in that cheating scandal. I guess that controversy alone would probably just put him in a bad light, and you know, him coming over here and then just being able to do those, maybe he's still cheating or not. Like again, I don't want to make any accusations, but him just coming over here and then still doing those bad things, it could really paint Kick in a bad light. But it, like on Twitter, he still seems very supportive about of wanting to, like, you know, obviously Kick to succeed and stuff like that. I'll give him a B tier rating. I don't think he's deserving of a C tier. Like he's not the worst of the worst. He's like, if he got rid of that, if he wasn't part of that cheating scandal and like, you know, lying about it and stuff, like I definitely would have moved him up to an A tier, possibly even A+. But like considering he wants the platform to succeed, that's definitely an A tier, A+ worthy. But again, just like not owning up to the mistake is like it's kind of bad on your end. And you know, again, like I said, it doesn't really put Kick in this good light. Next up is Odablock, the RuneScape streamer. I think he's also one of the newest signed contracted Kick streamers, formerly originally on Twitch, now signed over to Kick. He's also live right now. I'm pretty sure he's like live every day, just doing a classic old school RuneScape. And again, that's a very good new audience to bring on over here, where any RuneScape streamers can now, like, you know, obviously come over here and also stream. I mean, I guess the fact alone that he just signed on, I guess, is very supportive of the platform. Kind of like similar reasons for GM Hikaru joining and stuff. So I'll definitely give him just like an A+ tier rating, because it shows that he's at least committed to, like, you know, supporting a new platform. And I think he's also like, the best clip I know him of was like, I think where he was reacting to this RuneScape tournament, where like the two players were like lagging, the servers were so bad.
Just man.
When it registers, look, they know it's lagging! Look!
On the back burner now, needs to hit a VLS spec big. 17 gets his one back, off prayer. This could kill Manct when it registers.
When it registers, mate! What the fuck? Look how laggy it is! The hit didn't even spawn! I can't do this today. I can't do this today, bro. I can't do this today. I can't do this today. I waited too long. I spent 3 weeks. I spent 3 weeks waiting for this. I did 14 hours, 16 hours every single day. I skipped the gym for this shit. Fuck! I lost 10 pounds for this shit! Damn it! Fix your game! You fuck!
Alright, I think we get it enough. Let's see who's next is Rafflegator. Mainly I've just seen him do VR, like he mainly just multi-streams here. Since I'm pretty sure the stuff that he does here, I guess he does do a lot of explicit, I guess you could say, VR chat stuff, where you know might see some sort of lewd content, I guess you could say, on VR chat, where you might see some anime half-naked models and stuff. It's like, I guess since it's in a video game, he hasn't really been sort of like bad for the platform or controversial, so I'll just give him like a solid A tier rating, because since he is a big name over on Twitch, so him bringing his audience over here, it's definitely beneficial towards the platform. Okay, next on the list is Rochstein, the big Gamba guy. He was formerly, like, was on Twitch, but mainly just for like gambling streams and stuff, like back when Twitch still allowed gambling. Like he would do that and stuff. But now that since they banned gambling over there, and that's mainly what he has done, he's now come over here since they allow it here and just done that. But I still wouldn't necessarily, I'm not gonna give him the A tier rating, because he has been sort of guilty and in controversies where he's allegedly, it's not known for sure, but he has been known for inflating his numbers, where he might like be view botting and stuff, just so I guess he could be the top slots streamer, gambling streamer, whatever you want to call him. He is sort of like the OG slots streamer, gambling streamer, whatever you want to call him. I mean, he does have a stake sponsor or sort of like a partnership with them, so I mean, it makes sense why he's over here. If he only does gambling streams, it's like, okay, I guess that's your stick. He says that he's been doing it since 2016, and so like I can't really like fault him for that, since that's what he has been doing. But just the whole thing about him like being responsible for allegedly, like, you know, view botting so he could be at the top, it's like that doesn't seem very beneficial towards the platform, since Kick has already like noted as this platform that view bots and stuff, and they still haven't figured out the issue with that. And maybe, like, you know, maybe the org owners know that he does view bot, and like, you know, they're just not going to do anything about it since he's already like a big name. Maybe if it was just more transparent, I would move him up to A, but just I'll leave him at B for that. Next up is Sam. I only knew him as Sam. Like this guy, like the OG prankster YouTuber, pretty controversial stuff that he's been in. Can't remember why, but I'm pretty sure he's been involved in controversies relating to his YouTube pranks and stuff, where they would almost be pushing the line a bit. What was I trying to say? Since he's very much an OG YouTuber that now recently came over to Kick, but it seems like he has amended his ways, which is I guess good. But given he has like this controversial past, like, you know, that's probably what most people are just gonna know him of or as. It's hard to say where he should be placed. I guess it makes sense, because like I said, for these other four guys, they have sort of like broken the rules and have already painted Kick in a bad way. And like Ice Poseidon, him barely streaming over here on Kick for a month now, hasn't really done anything deemed bad or controversial. Maybe like a few things here and there that might catch some headlines, but nothing like worth banning for, I guess. So I think I'll do that. So I'll move Ice Poseidon and I'll put Sam also up in A tier. Like, if I'm going to be judging these both on the same criteria, then they both should be at least A, because they're not as bad as what these guys are, what previously bad or known for. Okay, so next up is Snaggy Hose. One of Aiden's friends, one of like the friends in his network that whenever they're doing e-dates and stuff, he's usually there. I know he mainly just he does sort of like those Omegle streams, and also Omegle streams, and then just some IRL content with Aiden occasionally. But originally he has done some controversial things. Like I remember like the most, like I think of like if you go right now on the main webpage of Kick, then just browse and then clips, and then you sort it by views of all time. It's like he's up there. He's like up there with where he flashes his butt, and it's like, come on, man, like you really? Because I'm pretty sure that they're talking about where because Aiden like was talking to him and his group like about how Kick is the better platform now, and like, oh, you can do whatever you want, and obviously so like what he did was like, oh, you could do whatever you want, like see, I could like flash my ass, and it's like that's kind of what he did, I guess. But I can't really think of anything else that would label him controversial or bad, really. I don't really see much of him. Not much of a big social media presence besides just being on with Aiden. So I'll just put him in B. Just like sort of a net neutral sort of guy. Like nothing too terrible about him. Painting him as a Kick streamer versus a good guy, or painting him as a good Kick streamer. He's just kind of in the middle of all this. I don't really know much else to say about him. Let's see who's next. And it is Skackle. I think that's how you pronounce his name. Skackle, whatever. The VR potato guy. Most recently, I've seen him mainly just be playing GTA RP and some IRL, well, I don't know, IRL stream, but just chatting streams where he goes as his potato avatar. Sort of like this VR, I guess you could say. VR avatar of him as a potato, just having discussions on Omegle. Not necessarily like a big streamer, but just sort of like he's up there in terms of like the like I would count him as like one of the big, at least Kick streamers, because he's recently had a talk with Devin Nash, and you know, that's definitely like him talking to Devin Nash, like that's good publicity, I guess, for the platform. And they were having like this discussion of what Kick can do better. I'm kind of torn between A+ versus just A, because I'll give him A+. I think like him just the fact alone that he was able to talk to Devin Nash about Kick and just sort of like bring in discussions and stuff, because like even Devin himself has said that, you know, he definitely sees potential in Skackle, because he definitely has a good personality. He's somewhat funny as well. But I think like if like Skackle can do more, like if he was able to talk to Devin, I think like that little network, that connection alone of being able to talk to Devin and get his attention, you know, maybe get some advice on what Kick can do better, what Kick can improve on, all that kind of stuff. It definitely seems like he wants this platform to like achieve greatness, and that's very admirable of him. So he's definitely deserving of A+ tier. Moving on, next is Social. That's literally just this kid's name. Like he's probably like the youngest streamer I know that's on here, and he's actually been widely successful on here. I follow him on Twitter, and it seems like he mainly just on his Twitter he mainly just always tweets about reaching like sub goals. Like he reached 100 subs today, and then next week he reached 200, all this kind of stuff. Like he does, that's mainly what I just see his posts about. Does a lot of just chatting. I think that's mainly what he does, just chatting in Warzone. A little bit of variety, it seems like. But he's definitely been on, like, the reason why I guess he's so successful is because he does a lot of subathons. Like, I think he just finished his, like, last month. So it actually seems like he's been banned before. Going through his Twitter right now, and I didn't actually see this before. He was banned recently for hate speech, I guess, but I guess in his tweet he talks about getting doxxed and swatted. But it seems like he's just multi-streaming on here for now. because he still kind of promotes his Twitch. Other than that, I think I would just give him like a solid A tier rating. Next up is Steak Eddie. And if you don't know who Steak Eddie is, he's the actual owner, the real CEO, the boss of it all, my boss, I guess you could say, of Kick. He owns Stake.com, which Stake.com thus owns Kick.com. Definitely been just like a very outspoken guy, very charitable. Definitely wants to see this platform succeed. Like I said, he's been in talks with Biggie, where they had this conversation about what the future is of Kick, what they want to see. I don't know what else I could really say about him, because he's very great boss, you could say. And it makes sense for him since he's the CEO. Like, he definitely wants to see it succeed. He's not just about making this a new platform because Twitch banned gambling and stuff. I know he's talked to Aiden. I know he's talked to Biggie. I think he's talked with Destiny as well. I think like him and Destiny talk, like that's the whole reason why Destiny is over here. So I'll definitely just say S for the sake of it, because like, you know, obviously like he's technically my boss, and like, you know, that's sort of a bias, whatever you want to say. So all right, next up is Sponge. Similar to where's the other guy, Joker. This guy, I've been following Sponge since the days of DLive.tv, if you guys know that. Yeah, so Sponge, I would definitely say he's a very charitable guy. Recently I was involved in his poker charity event, so he does know how to garner a community. I want to say I want to put him in S tier. It's just that it kind of feels like he could be, if he was more active on Kick, because like it shows that he's only been on, or I actually think he's explained why he's not active recently, because last time he was online was just 2 weeks ago, where he set up a Warzone event for like, you know, smaller streamers, for Kick streamers to like team up obviously and enter the event. He definitely wants to see this platform succeed. That's pretty sure that's the whole reason why he's like even setting up these events and stuff. Okay, I'll leave him up in S tier. Like once we're all done with this list, I'm kind of just gonna go over each streamer briefly as to why they're there, and then just maybe reevaluate some choices. So Sponge, I'll leave him up in S tier. Next up is probably the most controversial of them all, and that is Suspendos. Now, Suspendos, I'm pretty sure, I think he was around the DLive days as well. I just know that he's been involved in a lot of controversies. Like, I think he's gotten his account banned once or twice. In terms of his recent controversies, you know, I'll just kind of go over it briefly. I don't want to kind of get too much into it without, you know, knowing for sure. Like, these are just allegations, like no official confirmation yet. Is that he was in Thailand, and he allegedly brought on underage prostitutes, and like I guess he brought them on stream where they were kind of like half nude, and allegedly they were doing something off camera that we didn't see, but people were obviously being able to hear what he was doing. That's his most recent controversy. And then the other one before is where I think it might be him or not, where he was like on a public subway and just giving out like these racist rants and stuff like that. For tier list sake, I'm just gonna automatically put him in C tier. I think all those controversies he's been a part of is definitely painting Kick in a bad light. You know, if you go to LSF on Reddit, and like, you know, anytime a kick clip you know, goes viral, it's usually involving him doing something very bad. And again, it always just paints Kick in a bad light, that this is where the criminals stream, I guess you could say. Alright, next up is Trainwrecks, the big dog himself. The guy that I guess Kick started this whole thing. I guess you could say he's not officially on the board. He's just like a non, what do you say? Like, he's like non-paid spokesperson. Like, he's on the advisory board of Kick, but he's not exactly getting paid for it. Like, he's just like giving free, like the title says, free advice on where the platform should go, what should be happening on here, what rules he thinks should be in place, all that kind of stuff. And he's like, rightfully so, cheerleading this whole platform. Not only just because he wanted to stream gambling, but he's gone over plenty of times why he thinks there should be an alternative to Twitch, you know, on his Twitter, he's always talking about how he wants Kick to improve and what he's advising on, what he wants to do. And, you know, thanks to him, like, you know, he's one of the guys behind the idea of the whole 95-5 split, where he thinks all sub revenue should go towards the streamer, and, like, you know, the company itself should not be taking a cent out of it. I could go on about Train, but like all that, besides all that, just him kickstarting this, him making this all happen, like I wouldn't be doing this if it weren't for him. So that's definitely very admirable. So he's definitely deserving of S tier. Next up is Wes Cole. This is probably the biggest, newest contracted Spanish streamer that Kick recently signed. So he is exclusively on here. So any new demographic coming over here, any new eyes coming over here, that is definitely very beneficial. And I think he was like I think he even like set a record as to like the fastest to grow on here, like biggest demographic to like shift from one platform to another. I think like he's actually like in second place next to Aiden Ross, or I think he has like the second most followers. But yeah, it does seem like he wants this place to succeed, given he's like signed over here. He's very he likes to promote it a lot. I mean, I guess just for similar reasons I gave Chow A+, I'll also give him like A+ as well for Wes Cole. Like they're both definitely like at top of the tier, kind of like how where Aiden is and stuff. Then next up is Zerka, John Zerka, OG Twitch streamer, one of the first Twitch streamers I ever saw, actually, that I first ever saw on the platform of Twitch back in like 2015. Like he's one of the first ever streamers to ever hit like 1 million followers back when Twitch was like new. Not necessarily doing the same things, but he's just kind of been all over the place, going on different podcasts, different streams, going on with Aiden. Hard to really say where he should be placed at. He's definitely been in calls with Trainwrecks and Destiny, sort of talking about the success of Kick, and like what, because he's like, he believes that Kick can definitely skyrocket and, like, you know, potentially be an actual competitor to Twitch. And other than all that, he's definitely not just like a nobody. Like I said, he's a former big Twitch streamer, but I think he got banned. I'm not sure why. But like, if you bring him up anywhere, like to any Twitch space, if you bring him up, like they'll know who he is. I'll put him in A+, but just like on the lower end of A+. Like he's probably just the lowest of A+, maybe even like the highest of A tier. He definitely wants Kick to win, because he's good friends with Destiny and Trainwrecks. He's gonna use his only platform to his advantage to make sure that, like, you know, if he still wants to stream and, like, you know, do what he's done over on Twitch, like he's now gonna do it here. But it's very unclear what he wants to do now. I'll bring him down to A, I guess, since like you could be doing more, because he even likes to brag about how he's gonna be the next biggest thing or whatever. He's gonna be bigger than all these guys. Like, I'm sure he's just talking about that like in a jokingly way, but it's more or less like if he was serious about it, then, like, you know, I would put him up here in A+. Then the last one is me. Now, considering myself, since I'm just a small streamer, like I'm sure like I'm sure only like 1% of these guys like know who I am, because I've talked to them before. Like, definitely not like people like Aiden or like Trainwrecks. Like, I'm pretty sure they don't even know who I am. Like, there's no doubt about that. I'm just a small streamer. But in terms of how beneficial I am to the platform, I think I'd just be like any other small streamer, like any other of these small streamers that I've put up here, like Social or Gypsy or Big Iraq. Like, all these guys, like, they definitely want to see Kick succeed. And so, like, including myself, like, I've been critical of Kick in terms of its lenient terms of service and stuff, but I still obviously want to see it succeed, because I do believe that it could be a viable option, like, sooner or later, once it's out of its beta stage. So myself, I would just like put myself in A. I'm not deserving of really A+, or S tier because I haven't really done anything that would be considered charitable towards the platform, like Jared, like Sponge, like Biggie. Like I haven't nearly done anything what they have done. So I would just give myself like the minimum A tier. I know it would seem jokingly that I would put myself like at C tier, B tier because like I'm a nobody. But I've obviously not done anything remotely close to anything bad these guys have done. So I would just like give myself an A tier rating. Hopefully sooner or later I could possibly move up to an A plus or possibly S tier once I get enough attention to, like, you know, start doing these community events like these previous guys have done. So yeah, this is the official tier list. If I missed anybody, or if I'm missing someone that you guys might know of, again, it's just like these are people that have made headlines or that are, like, you know, have caught the attention of someone like Eddie or Trainwrecks. We'll probably come back to this tier list maybe like a month or two later just to kind of like revise it all, maybe move some people up or down, like depending on how it goes. But that'll do it for today's stream. I know I took a lot longer than expected, but that should do it.